to Wired for Crime, the podcast where we explore the complex connection between the human mind and criminal behavior through psychological research, neuroscience, and real world case studies. We dissect the science behind why crimes are committed and how understanding the mind can shape justice. I'm Kian, I'm your host, and your guide through the psychological underworld, where cognition, emotion, and environment intersect with criminal action. Whether you're a student of psychology like me or just fascinated by the science of behavior, you're in the right place. Today, we're exploring one of the most fascinating frontiers of criminology, the role of psychophysiology in crime. That's right, we're talking heart rate, skin conductance, and brain waves, and how these patterns might help explain why some people commit crimes. Let's start with a big question. Are criminals born different? Psychophysiology doesn't necessarily say yes, but it does suggest that the body of some offenders react differently to the world around them. One of the most consistent findings is that criminals, especially violent offenders, often have lower resting heart rates. A study by Raine, Findables, and Williams in 1990 tracked the boys at the age of 15 and then again at the age of 24. The ones with lower heart rates as teens, they were more likely to be convicted of crimes as adults. Take Richard Kuklinski, for example, also known as the Iceman. He was a notorious contract killer who later became subject of a psychiatric study. Experts noted his emotional detachment and flat physiological responses, even when describing murder. While not part of Raine's study, Kuklinski fits the pattern, chronically unaroused, always needing extreme situations to feel anything. So what's going on here? There are main theories: fearlessness and sensation seeking. The fearlessness theory says that these individuals don't feel scared the way that others do, so things like punishment and consequences don't affect them as much. Let's look at Colton Harris-Moore, nicknamed the Barefoot Bandit. He stole planes, boats, and cars all across the US as a teenager. Reports described him as eerily composed during police chases and high-risk break-ins. His story highlights how fearlessness and thrill-seeking might overpower concern for consequences. The sensation-seeking theory flips that coin. It says low arousal is uncomfortable, so people with this profile seek stimulation, sometimes through risky or criminal behavior. Think about Luka Magnotta, the subject of Don't F with Cats. Before his more violent crimes, he displayed extreme attention and thrill-seeking behavior, posting disturbing videos and taunting law enforcement. Magnotta's actions escalated in intensity, classic signs of someone chasing an ever-stronger stimulation. And it's not just heart rate. Skin conductance, which measures how much your skin sweats in response to stress, is lower with people with conduct problems, psychopathy, and aggression. That was confirmed by Lorber's 2004 meta-analysis of nearly 100 studies. This means that their autonomic nervous system, the flight or fight response, may not be sounding the alarm like it does for others. Scarpa and Raine in 1997 took this a step further, looking at how anger and violent outbursts are tied to over-arousal in some contexts. Basically, some individuals flip between being under-aroused and suddenly hyperreactive. It's this instability or dysregulation that can push someone towards violence. Even brain activity tells part of the story. Raine and others have found that people who commit crimes often have low cortical arousal. That's electrical activity in the brain, especially in the frontal lobe, which is responsible for decision-making and impulse control. This ties into Gray's BI and BAS theory, which was extended by Fowles in 1980. The idea is that the behavioral inhibition system, BIS, helps stop us when we sense punishment. Criminals often have a weaker BIS, meaning they don't respond to warning signs the way that others do. Combine that with a strong behavioral activation system, BAS, which makes them pursue rewards, and you've got a recipe for risk-taking behavior. Think of BIS as a brake pedal, stopping us and warning us when there's signs of consequences or punishment. And think of BAS as a gas pedal, which drives us towards rewards. Now, important caveat here. None of this means that people are destined to become criminals. Ling, Ubach, and Raine 2019 stress that biology is only part of the picture. Things like environment, trauma, and social context also play huge roles. But psychophysiology helps us understand the biological vulnerabilities that might make some people more prone to criminal behavior, especially when combined with adverse experiences. Crime isn't just a choice, it's also biology, psychology, and environment all wrapped together. Understanding psychophysiology doesn't excuse criminal acts, but it does help us see the early warning signs, and maybe even stop it before the cycle starts. Thank you for tuning in to Wired for Crime. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, give us a like, subscribe, leave a review, and until next time, keep questioning the mind behind the crime.